It's our pleasure. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Latino Investment Summit. It's our pleasure to have you here. This is the first digital event gathering accredited investors from all over the world in order to hear companies pitching great initiatives from all over the Americas. Today, Agromedicol is joining us, and we are going to have the opportunity to hear this amazing team of entrepreneurs from Colombia pitching. Please stay tuned. It's my pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time. Welcome to this worldwide digital event. My name is Carol Ortega. I'm the CEO and founder of Muisca Capital Group. We are located in Los Angeles, California, where our headquarters are there. We have operations in Colombia. We are opening operations in Ecuador. We are a multinational organization, and we are proudly the first Latino investment management firm focusing on the cannabis industry and the great opportunities that the cannabis industry is allowing us to share within this context that we are experiencing right now. Um, Something about myself. Carol Ortega is from Bogota, Colombia. Since 2013, I have been working very hard with our team of more than 9 people in US, more than 12 people in Colombia, and now this amazing team joining us in Ecuador. We welcome Ecuador to the cannabis industry. We have an amazing uh, speaker by the end of our event, of our digital event. So I hope that you can join us these 2 hours in a row. I hope that you can join us until 6:20, perhaps 6:15. There's a lot of surprises. Well, Carol Ortega, as I was sharing, is I am from Bogota, Colombia. I have been living in US for the last 20 years of my life, and I realized the opportunities in the cannabis industry since a decade ago, and we decided to support Latino entrepreneurs. Supporting Latino entrepreneurs and minorities in the cannabis industry is an ethical issue, but also it's a way to diversify our portfolios. It's a way to diversify and have a global input where money can be made in a sustainable, ethical, and with a lot of social responsibility. Today, we have an amazing team of high-level fund manager, high-level asset managers from US. We have a great question and answers from a very savvy and experienced investor. He's joining us from Asia. He's joining us from Bangkok. Uh, Wolfgang, thank you so much for being so early joining us today from Asia. I want to share something about our audience today. 278 people are joining us right now. From that, 173 accredited investors that are part of our network are looking at this opportunity of investment in Colombia, in Latin America. Our audience is very international. We have investors from all over the world, mainly from North America, Canada, and United States, but we have also accredited investors joining us today from Asia, from Europe, from Australia, and of course from Latin America. Latin America, after following up of a development of the industry in California, for example, of more than 20 years, is now very interesting. There is a lot of financial visibility of the industry in Latin America. We have been contacted a lot from institutional organizations, institutional investors that want to join the industry in the United States and want to join the growth that the industry is experiencing right now. In the United States, after the COVID pandemic, and unfortunately under a recession coming, the use of psychotropics in general have been increasing. For cannabis, the increase in sales have been between 36 and 40%. So this definitely makes gets the attention from accredited investors all over the world. Right now, under this pandemic situation, investors are more risk adverse, of course, and they tend to save more money. But the sophisticated investors and financial asset managers understand the need to even under these circumstances to put your money to work. Savvy. Uh, we at our investment firm make sure that we follow strictly due diligence practices. So the organization that is joining us today for pitching have been under a very screwed and strong due diligence process. And it's our pleasure to present this team of great entrepreneurs that have been working in this industry since 4 years ago when Colombia started the legalization of cannabis. Colombia is a great example of a leadership in Latin America. The, the regulations, there's many improvements to make, but definitely it's the country that is leading a lot of activities in the industry in Latin America. In fact, I want to share with our audience, with our investors that are joining us today, that in about a month ago, if I remember well, the first legal exportation of a cannabis-related good happened in Colombia. It was 100,000 seeds that we delivered. Avicana delivered, an organization in Colombia, in the coast of Colombia, delivered to Denver. So what does this mean? This means that the uh, Farm Bill opened the opportunity to trade hemp derivatives and CBD derivative products globally. So, so there's of course, there's a market ready to go. There's a market that Colombia is joining right now, that Latin America is joining right now, and investors definitely want to take advantage of the cost efficiencies that Latin America offers. Labor cost, our climate, Ecuador and Colombia have perfect zone to grow, excellent conditions, experience. I think that Colombia and Mexico in Latin America, in the world actually, have the most experience growing cannabis in the tropics. And that's going to make a change also in Asia. We have been following up also the industry advancements and the industry growth in Asia. And they are right now working in a learning curve, experimenting a learning curve, and Colombia is providing a lot of guidance regarding um, outside growing in the tropic conditions. Countries like Vietnam, a lot of countries in Asia have this tropical weather that everybody's learning how to grow in a tropical um, um, context. Well, I want to share our agenda today. We are going to start with a great leader in the financial industry, Claudia Mora. She is the CEO of Black Legend Capital. For more than I don't how many decades, um, Claudia have been managing this fund, managing billions of dollars. They were focusing before in the petroleum and gas industry, and right now they are joining the industry. They are joining cannabis. They are introducing great opportunities for entrepreneurs. So we will be hearing from Claudia or her insights and how it's been her experience within the industry so far. And coming from the venture capital industry, from the financial industry, and joining the cannabis industry have a lot of challenge. We all know the financial restrictions that now, well, at the federal level, the government have been flexible, and a lot of progress have been happened regarding policy and regulations for the financial industry. The Farm Bill definitely was a game changer, and I think that the more the opportunity as an essential product allow us to demonstrate this economic growth for nations. This is going to catch the attention, of course, of the financial industry, and hopefully the regulators. Um, we hope that the regulators help us moving this industry forward because it's clearly an economic benefit for jurisdictions that are now legal. After Claudia, we have the opportunity to hear this amazing pitch from one of the best of the best opportunities to invest in Colombia. We have been following a very rigorous due diligence processes, and for us, values like honesty, loyalty, responsibility, and of course, people that understand and have experience in entrepreneurship before. This is what we offer to our investors. I said honesty because Latin America, there's some kind of risks that we need to take a look and that we need to go over in order to make our due diligence process successful. We also have today an expert with decades of experience in SARLAB, with decades of experience in managing risks for many organizations, including the financial industry. And he is going to to give us a tour where on how to manage these risks better, where we should put some attention, where investing in Latin America, our culture and our context is quite different than the rest of the world. And when you're investing abroad, you need to make sure that you cover all these aspects and manage those risks. And one of the biggest advices that I can give to investors, that I have been giving investors for a decade already, is you need to do your own due diligence. Make sure that the people that you're going to trust with your resources are people with values, with people with honest people, loyal people. And unfortunately, Colombia, just like Nigeria or another country, there's some risks of corruption and well, not only Colombia. Let's take a look to Canada. One of the advices for our audience and our accredited investors that are joining us today is not only to make sure that the legal team, the team of entrepreneurs follow all the legality and all the legal issues, but also that they follow values like honesty, responsibility, hard work, and loyalty, um, and social responsibility. We cannot we cannot talk about investing in cannabis without seriously thinking about social responsibility with the minorities and with the Latino community that is clearly the most affected community in the world, one of the most affected community in the world by the war on drugs. So the call is to social responsible, take a look to these great entrepreneurs, to take a look to these great opportunities to generate wealth and to join the party, really to join a great industry that has the main purpose of, of, of give wellness to the world beyond the wealth generation, beyond the money making, and beyond economic growth. There's a social responsibility with our patients, and this industry was built from the need of pain relief and many others, in general, of the need of wellness. And right now, this is the call. Under this pandemic situation, we need to support each other, and our responsibility to our patients makes it's even bigger. We have also great charts that will be asking questions to David, the CEO of Agromedicol. Agromedicol, this great Colombian company that is pitching today. After we hear their presentation, their pitch, they are going to ask a couple of questions, David, in order to make the audience understand better the deal they're offering, in order to make more understandable the initiative and the deal to our audience that is accredited investors. So I hope that you join our webinar today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach us at info@muiscacg.com. You can ask for our information in the chat available, or reach any contact on our website, latinoinvestmentsummit.com. Well, we are going to start in a couple of minutes with Claudia Mora, the CEO of Legend Capital. So once again, welcome to the first, to proudly the first Latino startup type of a scenario in the world. And welcome, Claudia. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. I'm very excited to present a women.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
In, first, in the financial space, Claudia, that when as a woman, I am pretty sure that you have experienced great challenges within the venture capital industry and within the financial industry. Is dominated by men, and just like the cannabis industry. So we have this challenge to empower women that are doing great job in the financial industry, in the venture capital industry, and now that they're about to start a great job in the cannabis industry as well. So it's an honor, really, to have such an experienced and sophisticated savvy investor, such an experienced and sophisticated fund manager, such an experienced and sophisticated asset manager. So, Claudia, welcome to Latin Investment Summit. Um, we are here to we are ready to hear your presentation. Please tell us about you. Please tell us about your
Thank you.
business.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you very much. And yes, and hello, everybody at the Latino Investment Summit. I'm very honored to be here. I'd like to introduce myself quickly and then provide our view, like a high view of the cannabis industry, and then zooming into a few of the verticals of the cannabis industries, and maybe also provide a couple of examples. So my name is Claudia Dellamore, actually, and I am a co-founder at BLACH Capital, a boutique investing bank, founded almost 10 years ago, back in 2011. All of the partners come from big investing banks such as Merrill Lynch, Duff & Phelps. We come from different industries. I myself actually come from the hospitality industry, and then the energy industry, oil and gas and mining, which obviously, as we know, does not see many women in there. But my partners from other industries in the M&A space. BLACH Capital is based in Los Angeles, with offices also in Europe and in Asia. We cover different industries, actually, not only cannabis. We cover consumer products, manufacturing, technology, and obviously energy. Now, this allowed us also to help our cannabis companies, clients, basically expand in different verticals, so expand in different geographies as well, thanks to our corporate connections in different clients. But cannabis has been a big focus for us in the past 5-6 years, obviously also because we're based in California. California is one of the biggest markets currently for cannabis. We covered almost every vertical out there, and being international in our nature, we also have clients in different countries. So I'd like to actually give a little bit of a high view of the cannabis industry and zoom into, as I said before. So what is cannabis and what is hemp? By the way, cannabis and hemp are two different things, and it's very important to know that from the get-go. But we all know about the medicinal, the wellness, the healthcare side of cannabis, and also the recreational side of cannabis. And these are nothing else than the end products of this beautiful industry that is expanding into our economy. But in order for these end products to exist, there's many verticals that sustain the industry, just like any other sector, such as energy or consumer products, you have many other verticals like distribution, like technology, extraction, manufacturing. And it's very important to actually look into those as well as part of our economy. Now, I'd like to know when my presentation is up so that I can show the slides. If anybody can help me share the window as well. Beautiful. Okay, it's coming up. So, and I'm sure that among the audience, I mean, everybody comes from different industries, and we're all trying to apply our experience, our track record, right, in our own industries into the sector. So it's a general learning, basically. Okay, so you guys can see the presentation. All right, okay, good. So I'm gonna try to, I'm trying to move the slides. I guess I need some help in here. Okay, so we're having a problem sharing the screen. So maybe if someone can help me handle that so I can continue with the presentation. Actually, we prepared a few slides to show some comparison. As you know, the cannabis industry has developed mostly in the past 5 years, and in the past year has gone through a huge change in valuation, right? Especially from the point of view of investors. So, okay, we're having a problem with the slides. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is basically a little bit of a black legend. I already covered it, and what we've been working on, as I said, we cover different industries. We're industry agnostic, but cannabis is one of the main sector that we cover. Okay, all right. So what I was saying is, from the high view and then zoom into the the vertical. So the cannabis industry, the output is medicinal and recreational, but there's all of these verticals that are so important to the industry, and obviously it would be part of the economy as well. Next slide. Okay, all right, so there's a little parallel, right, to the tech industry. So now let's look at what happened 20 years ago during the dot-com and the general sentiment that investors might have had back then, right? Nonetheless, the tech industry, and if you're looking at the stock graphs, you can very well see what happened. But the tech industry continued to grow, and actually it became integral part of our economy, right? Beyond what happened during the dot-com. And we believe that this is a very good example for the cannabis industry. What happened in the past year and this incredible crash is nothing else than an adjustment to valuation. And as we know, as bankers, as investors, valuation is based on current revenues, not necessarily on projected revenues, and therefore we will see an organic growth of the valuation of these companies as their revenues and expansion will continue. And we believe that what happened in the past few years, it's just a result of a new industry coming into play, and many investors from different sectors jumping into that, basically. So which means that with time, the industry will stabilize, just like the tech industry has been, part of our economy substantially. Now, I want to discuss an example, all right? I'm going to try to go into the next slide. Okay, all right. So the cannabis industry has developed a lot into the current sectors, such as consumer products. And therefore, we have all of these food and beverage products with either CBD or more for wellness, or THC for recreational. We've seen it all, from CBD water, THC cookies, CBD candies. But I want to just stop a second and give an example of a unique company. This is a client of ours, a small company, but it's the first company that used CBD hemp into honey. And at the moment, they are in the hemp cultivation, in extraction, in production, in retail. They have their own little verticals, also because of their special IP. It's a small company, as I said, but it already distributes into the 50 states in the US, and it's prone to further expansion. Okay. So obviously, Frangiosa Farms, it's the name of the company, is based in Colorado. It got many SKUs around the honey space, including coffee as well. And it's pride to say that its wholesale prices are about 6 times cost, and their retail are about 11 to 12 times cost. Obviously, this is a good example of a small company that has gone through the challenges of the last few months due to COVID. But thanks to their brand recognition, they're actually signing up more stores and continuing to develop into the United States and different states, right? They're already in 50 states. So this is a very interesting example, because a BLACH Capital with represented all kinds of food and beverage companies, and of course with hemp CBD in it, or also THC in the recreational space. And we believe that at this point it's important to for entrepreneurs to find the niches, to find products that have not been developed as much so far, and also the ability to distribute these products and to market these products on a smaller scale. Like, for example, Frangiosa Farms has different types of SKUs, and with their sticks is able to sell their products at lower cost, and be able to get as much clientele as possible. I myself love honey, and ever since I've used this product, I can't do without it. So this is a good example of an interesting idea from someone with very strong expertise and track record in that space. As a matter of fact, the founder is a beekeeper, and his entire life has been cultivating honey, right? Now, this is just a little snapshot of their financials. Obviously, it does show incredible growth for a small company that just started a few years ago. And at the moment, we're looking for some investors, obviously, but also strategic investors. Meaning at BLACH Capital, we've been very successful in performing M&A and joint ventures. We believe that the right type of investor is not only the check writer, but also an investor that understands the industry and the sector, and help the company and the client, basically our client, grow in different countries as well. So we're presenting the company also to several food and beverage company in the same space. Okay, so now I'd like to discuss quickly a different vertical. Let's go into the next slide. All right. So what is a different vertical? So we all heard about the extraction side of cannabis, or testing labs. So what does that entail? In order to have those verticals, we're talking about hardware and equipment, right? And this is an example of one of our client companies. It's called XTRACTOR. I'll go into that in a second. So there's a myriad now of testing labs around, and the extraction facilities, and of course the licensing and being GMP certified. And this is a very important vertical of the industry. Now, this is also the same vertical that you can find in other sectors, like in the agricultural sectors, in the pharma sector, right? but it entails and requires certain type of equipment and hardware that maybe did not exist before. So in the past few years, we've seen entrepreneurs creating their own equipment, their own hardware, and we as bankers, as investors, we've been challenged to be able to finance as well this equipment. So finally, there is a company, for example, that we find extremely interesting. It's called XTRACTOR Depot, and they are the Home Depot of the cannabis industry. What is Home Depot? Home Depot, just like Lowe's, is another competitor in the United States, and in South America, there's a company called Sodimac. I'm sure you guys know Sodimac. So just like Home Depot, this is a conglomerate that provides services and provides equipment for the hardware and equipment space. And an XTRACTOR Depot just started a few years ago. Obviously, the founder has lots of experience in the extraction business, and it's nothing else than providing equipment, but also training, okay, to all the extraction companies around. It's based in California for a strategic reason, because as we said, California is currently the biggest cannabis market in the world. And it's been extremely successful in their revenue with only 2 stores. So actually, we can go to the next slide. So the margins and the competition with Home Depot, Lowe's, and Ace Hardware, which is another company in the United States, just like Home Depot, are amazing. XTRACTOR Depot only has 2 stores in California, and it's planning to open 1 more store in Northern California for strategic reason, and also in Portland and Oregon and Las Vegas, other major markets. The plan for XTRACTOR Depot is to grow slowly but surely and dominate the market. As a matter of fact, there's no other company such as XTRACTOR Depot providing such services and equipment. Okay. The margins, as I said, EBITDA margins are outstanding. They're above 7%. For a company that is currently reinvesting their cash flow. They have never taken any investment from outside investment. It's been growing organically with reinvestment of their own cash flow. All right. So this is in a unique example. Now let's go into another example. Let's talk about the famous vertically integrated companies or conglomerates, right? So in other industries, like first of all, let's go to the next slide. Okay, perfect. So in the manufacturing industry, in the consumer product industry, we have Johnson & Johnson. We have Procter & Gamble. We have all these companies that are nothing else than conglomerates, right? So it's happened the same thing in the cannabis industry, and this is what the vertical space, it entails. Some people think it's a good idea to be vertically integrated. Some investors don't. It really depends on location and on the business plan of the company. But I chose another small client of ours. Because it's pretty unique. It's based in Canada, actually. It's called XCana, and it's led by very experienced women. This is, again, a little bit discussing what Carol was talking about. And with the advent of cannabis industry, also women have become, there's many women entrepreneurs in the industry. They're very savvy and successful. So Canada went through a slightly different story for the cannabis industry. As a matter of fact, Canada law outlawed any person who was in the cannabis industry prior to legalization, but operated without a proper license. So because of that, many experienced people in Canada cannot operate. And that is why XCana has a competitive advantage, because they have 40 years of experience in cultivation. Now, Now, currently XCana is a very good example of a small company that is not vertically integrated yet, but is going into that direction. Why do companies want to become vertically integrated or conglomerates? You know, in the past few years, we've seen companies grow out of proportion just using roll-ups. Roll-ups are nothing else than M&A, mergers and acquisitions, right, of smaller companies. And of course, we've seen the public companies leveraging the potentials of their stocks to acquire smaller companies. And this is also the reason why the overvaluations and the crash in the past year, by the way. But regardless, we believe that a healthy way of growing and becoming vertically integrated step by step by using actual cash flow and not only stocks in the public market can result in a very positive outcome. So XCana, for example, is a cannabis retailer. It owns 2 stores. It's done very well. It started in 2017. It grew very well with very nice growth between 2017 and 2018. Then the law changed. They had to shut down for 1 year, and now they got the licenses again, and they're operating these 2 stores. They're doing very well in 2020, and at the moment they are they acquired already 22 acres lot to grow their extraction and cultivation business. So they're cultivating both hemp for CBD and THC. And then in the extraction manufacturing space, they will basically produce their products. Their products, which they are currently already selling through their 2 stores. And also they're growing and acquiring more stores. Okay, very good. So, okay. Now, so this is an example. So as we just finished talking about, you know, the typical example of a retail growing into a vertical space. Now, before I leave you guys, I want to talk about nobody talks about, which is actually the original vertical. It's the hemp cannabis space. The industrial hemp, the industrial hemp space. So now in the past few years, every operator, every entrepreneur, every investor, every banker is going into all of these beautiful verticals, which I just said at the very beginning. They're sustaining the final products, which is the THC, the recreational brands, or the wellness and pharmaceutical brands. But there's also one vertical that nobody talks about, which is the industrial hemp. And now think about it, that before cannabis became famous for its the wellness aspects, right? Hemp has always been used in the past many centuries to make textile. Right? As a matter of fact, by the way, the first American flag with George Washington was made of hemp, and also paper. Now, obviously, a lot of things happened in the past 100 years, and legislations changed, and all of a sudden, hemp was seen as an enemy. And now, you know, it's coming back. Now, hemp products are 100% recyclable. Hemp products are, we believe, the solution to many environmental issues. With hemp, you can make many things. Now let's look at the plant, right? There's the flower side, which you already know. We talk about it for the THC and CBD products, but the flower side also contains the seeds. Seeds, by the way, are hemp seeds that we can buy at the supermarket, which are full of proteins. They have amazing nutritional aspects. Then there is the stem. The stem has special fibers. With the stem, you can do incredible things. You can create textile, as I said. You can create paper. You can create plywood as a substitution of wood as well. You can create plastic as a substitution of oil and gas, by the way. And I come from oil and gas space, so as we know, we can now make plastic without crude oil, but we can actually do without it. So, so the actual plant of hemp can be used in so many ways, right? Now there's one more use, and then I'm done, which is actually the hempcrete, the chives. So inside the stem is made of fibers which you use to make plywood, plastic, as I said, paper, textile. But inside the stem, there is something called chive, and that one can be used for the construction industry. Okay, as a matter of fact, if you mix hemp fibers with clay and lime, you can create almost, a cement, so a product similar to cement. And obviously, the hempcrete has a negative carbon footprint, and uh, everything about the hemp plant is extremely environmentally friendly. So with this said, I hope that everybody watching understands that the cannabis industry has a very long-term future, not only in the recreational side, and not even only in the wellness or pharmaceutical side, but literally in the industrial sector as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Claudia, for this incredible and very educational presentation. I would like to ask you one more question before we go to hear the pitch of Agromedicol, this great Colombian initiative. And well, today our audience is it's a mix between institutional investors, pension funds from Latin America are joining our digital event right now, and angel investors from a lot of them from United States, and family offices from Latin America. What will be your advice from your experience so far in the industry and in general your experience in the venture capital industry? What will be your advice to them, to these investors that are looking for initiatives in the industry? And also, can you join? Can you please share us? I'm sorry, excuse me, your information, your contact, an email where we can reach you if we can, if these institutions of these investors want to learn more about how to invest in the industry in California. You are located in
Thank
California. You know, the opportunities in California are endless.
Exactly. Well, the cannabis industry is developing all over the world, so I have several suggestions. And first of all, you need to understand the economic and political map, because what we've seen in this industry is that there's so many moving forces. You can't just focus on one industry. I mean, one location. We understand, obviously, everybody's focused right now in California or in the federal legalization of United States. Obviously, United States is a big, economic power. But the truth is that the cannabis industry is everywhere, and there's clients everywhere. It's important to understand the changes in regulations in different countries because, for example, as we know, in Colombia is a great asset for operators as a cultivation location, right? And export and the ability for other countries such as North America or Europe to purchase and import those products is very important. So it's important to understand the development of laws in different countries, first of all. I would recommend to believe in it because it is an industry that is tapping into so many vertical of the current economy. I think that this industry deserves more credit, but it also needs more guidance in terms of corporate knowledge, business knowledge. So any investor who also can provide support, direction, business direction, besides money, is always very much welcome. So a complete involvement into any company or opportunity that you see. So that is my recommendation. In terms of our contacts, so we're based in Los Angeles. We have offices also in other countries, but I'm going to share the main contact information. My email is claudia@blacklegendcapital.com. We also have a team of analysts, a big team of analysts that supports our work. Therefore, I would encourage anybody to copy your email also, the analyst at blacklegendcapital.com. One of our numbers, direct numbers, is 310-770-7542. Of course, with +1 for United States, 310-770-7542. And I'll repeat the main email. So my email is claudia@blacklegendcapital.com, and please do copy also analyst@blacklegendcapital.com. The partners and the bankers will be then automatic. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Claudia. Incredible presentation. We are next. We are going to hear this amazing initiative from Colombia called Agromedicol. David, the CEO, is joining us today. They are going to perform their pitch. We are going to have some commercials, some digital exhibits of our great sponsors. Thank you so much to Black Legend Capital for joining us today. Thank you so much for Agromedicol. We will have right now about 2 to 3 minutes of waiting in order to get Agromedicol and David pitch. Thank you so much. Welcome back. Well, before I introduce David and their amazing team at Agromedicol for their pitch, I want to share with our audience our mission and our mission here at Latino Investment Summit. We are here to empower Latino entrepreneurs in the cannabis industry. We are here to help mobilize capital to Latin America, a region that right now needs your help, I think, more than ever before. We are here to empower social responsibility in the industry, and we are here also to make money. So it's a pleasure to introduce David, the CEO of one of the greatest initiatives in the industry in Colombia. Uh, David is going to share an incredible opportunity to be great with our community, to be great in terms of social responsibility, to be inclusive, of course, to make wealth, to generate wealth, to help a region that needs you. And Agromedicol is offering an amazing deal where opportunities to make money are there. So welcome, David, to our digital event. We're making history today right now. This is the first Shark Tank of a scenario in Latin America. Welcome, David.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Carol, for that introduction. I would like to say before everything to be so grateful because that space make allow to the industry to create the different, to get some opportunity to start to do the thing that we are going to make the change, to be allowed to create the change that we want to do and start with this revolution. So thank you so much for that time. And first of all, I wanna share my presentation with all of you. So let's go to start. We are Agromedicol, a sustainable cannabis agronomic. We are part of that revolution. We have been working to get some developed, to create some culture, to get some well-being to Colombia, to bring the new industry to everyone here, and make sure that Colombia have some impact in the new industry. So we are Agronomía Canábica para la Medicina. So we have a beautiful team, multidisciplinary, with different age, with different experience. We have like between expertise, between new people with younger people that have been working so hard to make sure that we'll be doing the get the process that we want to do. So we have a multidisciplinary team, and the experience about them is in different sector, education, with some have been already worked with cannabis in different companies. Other one have been working in universities, and all of them have been helping to create that. So let me start with the problem or the issue that we get involved, and we have been working to realize that the important to create that industry have other side that we have been focused on to get and realize what is the problem of to create the agriculture, and what is the process to understand how we can make sure that the process is going to be allowed to get all the market and to get the quality that we want to get. So the high electricity consumption is definitely one of the big problem with that industry. All the resources that monoculture product need is a lot of water, a lot of different consumption of resources, and all of them, the high electricity, the different, I don't know how can I say, the riego, with all the mechanisms that we are going to use require a lot of energy. so that a lot of generation of greenhouse gases. And the other one is focus on to create a well-being. We already understand what is the purpose of cannabis, the disease generate, but the loss of the calorie balance, all the pathologies around that, disbalance, diabetes, obesity. Right now we have been doing through some pandemic, and right now it's difficult to understand how we are going to help from this industry to create some consumption, some products, but a product with a responsibility that make allow the people to get well-being, to create investigation around that well-being. And the most important is to get the quality, to certificate that quality, to make sure that people, when are going to buy some product, all the process of agriculture practice are good for them, and the traceability of the product is going to be a huge responsibility for the companies to make sure that we will be doing the good process to get certification. And our solution sustainable of cannabis flower, it will be sustainable agronomy process that we will focus to create high concentration of metabolitos and the other flavonoids, the terpenos, and all the cannabinoids, CBD, THC that require the products. The process are based on organic and self-sustainable practice. We want to make sure that to get the mix of about agronomy and huge and good practice about the friendly environment impact. So we are going to get the balance between that and try to close the cycle. And the renewable energy is our purpose to make sure that we will be allowed to provide the highlight that we need to with photovoltaic panels, some different turbine that make take advantage about our location, the quality and traceability. We will be seeking to obtain all the certification and research and develop all of this process. We want to be focused on understand what is the science and what is the evidence about the cannabis, and in different process to extract that cannabis, make sure that can help with the mechanism of the energy balance in our body and how that molecules are working in our system. So what is our business model? Agromedicol is going to be in some location. The name is Tibasosa, is the town. We have some advantage over there because we get a little bit more light than other towns in Colombia. Our position give us a average temperature of 70 grades. The size of our land is a good experiment to start to create all the process and make sure to get some standardization about that, to get some available develop and replicate that develop in other lands. Our production, the production is going to be is depend of the sea. We have been working with some companies that they already get all the law, because the permission from the ICA to produce it. So it's depend of the law, but our average cycle is going to give 2,000 plants for hectare. The harvest is going to depend of the company that we have been doing, like the process to get a vertical, to get all the requirements to get the seeds. We couldn't get before the legislation give the opportunity to produce our own seed. So we have been working with companies that have been developed some seed and try to get some joint venture to put our work and create different plants with our futures to get the quality that we already have been waiting. And we expect to get 300 or until 500 wet plant, or 500 to 150 grams per plant. The process in Colombia is a challenge. We haven't worked with that kind of sustainable practice. It's a huge challenge for us to make process friendly with the people that we will be working, to integrate our responsibility society, to impact the town that we will be working, and as well with the product. So it's a huge opportunity. Our revenue is getting from a lot of work to understand how it is the market outside of Colombia, what is the market overview in the global for legal cannabis. We already know that our legal framework legal is a little bit put the companies to just medical cannabis to the market that is a little bit close. We have been working to try to understand how it's going to be from Colombia to get the permission to sell the flower, but it's part of the process. So it's part of our work to understand how it's going to be the market. And the expectation for this revolution is so big. The product that we can do right now, and the first of all thing that we have been doing is to make sure that the flower is allowed to get some purpose, medical purpose, with high concentration of secondary metabolites. And the other way that we can see the industry is to get the way to commercialize products with our own flow, try to create some opportunity with different companies that have been working to get the legislation, the permission to create derivatives from cannabis. So we want to get involved the chain of on the chain of the value, different people, different industries that want to create, develop and high quality, and make sure that our process of friendly, of environmental friendly, is allowed with us to get the quality of cannabis that we want to get. International market, everyone here understand what is the ambitions of this project, or anyone that want to be here in cannabis industry. It is a revolution. We already have been doing different change of the legislation in Europe, in North America. Right now in Colombia, Colombia have been doing a little bit good. Some aspect we have to work on the legislation, but the industry here have been working to get all the step to beat that numbers. We can be epicentric of production of cannabis. Carol was talking before I was talking, and she gave us all the advantage about Colombia. So the potential market is really big, but we can start with medical industry because we want to make sure with the certification that give us the empower to try to beat that market, to get some deals with the pharmaceuticals to make one genetic, one way, standard way, the same cannabinoid, the same line of production, and and beat that market. After that, we can do something in Colombia like cosmetic industry, food industry, and the research and develop is the support of everything that we are going to do here. We want to make some investigation about the process of production, as well with some cannabinoids like CBG. We know that the incidence in our body for that cannabinoid is really amazing. We know that CBD is really good. We know that THC CBD is really good, but we want to make sure that all the cannabinoids is working for different way, and we want to get advantage about that. In Colombia, there are around 800 licenses that they are allowed to create derivatives. So we want to make deals with them or with companies that want to get our flower, our quality of flower. In Canada, in United States, in Germany, in Australia, we have been doing like find what is the target market, what is the different the legislation in each country. We know that in different in each country they are allowed to get some different line of business. Some have advantage for us. Other one is a little bit more challenge, but we want to create some line to production and make sure that our product could be beat some of these markets. Our key advantage, we are committed to the constant research for world well-being. We know that opioids is not the way to get healthy. We know the cannabis is the opportunity for everyone to change the world, to get some different production. Our law here in Colombia give us like a guide to do the things for the best way. We want to make sure that we are going to do and get the sustainable efficient process in this line. We have been doing like some approach about the legislation, international legislation. The deal between Colombia and our responsibility with the environment is erase the produce without a carbon footprint. We have the 20% of the responsibility in the cannabis industry. So we want to make sure that we are going to be one of the important company that make all the process focus to get like eraser. I don't know how can I say, like a change the carbon footprint and get advantage about the tax, that if we do the project for this way, we are going to be in some advantage, because we will be with some different features in the tax. They are going to give opportunity to no pay the IVA. We are going to be allowed to get some investigation without pay some taxes. So we want to get involved on that. We are going to create research and develop, and we will be working to understand all the market, international market, to get what is the best way to Colombia, to our flower. And the traceability with the quality is going to be one of our requirements of be working with everyone. And what is our final summary to? We are seeking a new capital. We already get some investment to get to find the line, to find the best way to produce, to find what is the opportunity in the different towns of Colombia, what is the advantage of different departments, and we already find. So we are seeking to find some investor that give us invest on us to $800,000 in return on investment in 5 years. The return of that capital is going to be 47%. The revenue total is $11 million our investigation and all the finals projection that we have been doing is try to avoid all the risk that we are going to get, and that risk are value in our finance. The opportunity here is to get in our roadmap. We are going to cultivate, to adapt the material that we already get, to mix the process of environment, the process that we be doing friendly with the environment, and mix with the production to get efficient. The research and development in that process is going to be in 2022. The expansion, we already get some material vegetable that are adapt in our land, so we are going to expand at that time. The certification is going to take time to get involved the software or the skill that in this industry we need. So after that, we are going to find a way to create the line of the commercialization for our extraction, with the people we get involved in the same thing that we are been doing the things to get sustainable, to make sure to get advantage about that process, and after that we hope that we can be the epicenter of production, of international production and international markets. So thank you so much for the time. Let me know if you have some question about our company. How can I help you?
Thank you so much, David, for sharing all the information and the seed capital deal at Agromedicol, an initiative, a Colombian initiative, Pioneers of Pioneers. I know their team, and we have been conducting a strong due diligence on their team, and I have to say that congratulations on gathering such a great team of professionals, David.
Sorry so much because the English is not the best, but I put my best effort to get involved the audience to understand what is Agromedicol, what is our purpose here.
Of course, David. Thank you so much. Right now, we are going to go another recession for about 3 minutes because our sharks are ready to ask questions, David. Don't get nervous. The idea of having sharks asking questions is to help our audience of more than 200 accredited investors that are looking right now at your pitch, that look at your pitch, that listen very carefully at your presentation. The idea is that all these experienced professionals, investors as well, are going to provide some questions to you, just to make sure that the whole audience of accredited investors have a better understanding of your initiative.
For sure. Let's get this question.
For a small break, and we'll be back with the shark session.
All right. I will be waiting. All right. Thank you so much. Estaba durísimo porque ya había unas palabras que no.
Hello, welcome back. Hello, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us from, yeah, good morning. What time is it?
I can hear you.
Oh,
Well,
thank you. I couldn't hear you before. So once again, welcome back. Well, this is our shark tank. I would like to introduce our shark. Hello, Wolfgang. I was giving you a good morning. What time it is? What time it is in Bangkok? I can hear you.
me either.
I can. No se le escucha, hermano, marica. No se les. Aló, ay. Okay. I don't know. I couldn't hear you very well, but okay. How about Samuel? Hello, Samuel. Where are you right now?
Hi, Carol. How's it going?
Good.
David,
How
muchas
are you?
gracias por la presentación.
Thank you so
Okay.
much, Samuel. Sorry about the English. I was doing my best.
No problem.
Okay.
I certainly understand.
Thank you very much.
Carol, I have one quick question about exit strategies, if I might.
Yeah,
For sure.
so the idea is that in order to give a better understanding of Agromedicol deal today to our audience who are accredited investors from all over the world, family offices, institutional investors, and angel investors, the idea is that each of you, after presenting yourself, give us one or two questions to David, so our audience can understand better Agromedicol deal today. So how about if we start with you, Samuel? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, great. Go.
I guess for my own personal introduction, I'm Samuel Larson. I'm a resource economist from California and have lived in Colombia for a number of years and helped manage investments in private equity. And as Carol said, mainly family offices throughout Latin America and the Caribbean Basin in agriculture, land management, and now cannabis. So we represent some investors that are looking to get into the industry and that already have. And so, David, my question, I think, comes from an investor's perspective, therefore, and I wanted to ask about exit strategies in terms of at the end of year 5, do you have any financial metrics such as gross profit margins or EBITDA margins? And how might you expect some kind of a liquidity event to occur in order to return your investors' capital to them? Are you looking at a buyout or an M&A, or what plans might you have?
Okay, thank you so much. So, first of all, we have some strategies to get there. The legislation here is doing like just for medical cannabis. So our purpose, we have some projection that give us EBITDA, a good EBITDA, finding with the sale of the flower. So we have been doing like joint ventures and approach to different people that require our flower, and that is going to be the first return or sale for us. The other one, we already get some channel of commercialization, so we wanna create some line with our investigation. The planning of our projection give us the opportunity to do that just with the sale of our flower, just to sell our flower, and between all the process, we are allowed to make return the profit. We want to give the return of the profit in 5 years. In the third year, we are going to create the line to commercialize, to get the final customer. We hope so to get in 3 years, start to create that. Our projection are like a little bit acid. We have been doing like make sure that with some indicator that we are going to pay the proveedores. I don't know the proveedores give us. We are going to pay like they give us our the thing that we need, and our sale is going to be until 90 days. Other one, the TRM, the TRM is a little bit low, and the metric of our production as well is a little bit low, because we already know how many time it's going to take the learning to get all the data about our production. So we are focused just sell the flower, create the channel of commercialization, get the certification, beat some market that we already have been studying, and we want to go through the projections. We have like, if you want, I can tell you how it is going to be the return that we have been expecting. The EBITDA after 3 years is going to be 52%, and after we get all the process, the environmental process that we want to get involved in our production, is going to be some advantage in the task, because the law give us some opportunity to return that tax for us if we make the sustainable introduce the sustainable energy to our process. So the return is going to be in the 3rd year is going to be for the investor, and until 2026 is our compromise. But we already know, because our projection gives the opportunity to return before the capital, but our compromise is about the long time. So in 5 years, we are going to return all the investment and give the TR for 47%.
And that's a complete buyout of the investors with assets still on the balance sheet, or is that a full liquidity event of the entire company?
The liquidity, the total liquidity is that. So depend of the investment that if right now we are finding like 1,000, I don't know, in dollars is going to be $2,080. So we are going to give some percent, 75% of our company. And as well, we want to give you or the investor the tasa, the return of the return is going to be 90% each effective annual without the 5 years. Yes, the liquidity total of the exercise is 11 million until 2026.
Got it. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Samuel, for the question.
Thank you so much, Samuel. And thank you, David, for how about if you go with Claudia? Can you, Claudia, do you have some questions for David?
Yeah, actually, I have a few questions, and as usual, I'd like to. So first of all, I want to congratulate you for jumping and investing, into this industry. And we all know how Colombia will be very fundamental for the growth of the economy, of this economy in the world. So congrats. So a little bit of about competitive advantage. So in the past, I've worked on some of the well-known companies in Colombia, such as Chiron Life Sciences. My colleagues and investors invested also in Plena, and of course we have Farmacielo. So where do you position yourself, compared to these companies, and what have you learned from their mistakes, what happened to their growth as well? So what would be better advantage versus them?
Yes, good question. The first thing that I have been realized about the develop is going to be in the create value. We want to get involved in the process to sustainable. Some of that companies have been working, but they are focused in other way. So that is one of our difference. And about mistakes, for example, I already know that cannabis is so plastic, is different, that is here is tropic. All the revenue, the projection about the industry, it really amazing, but we couldn't get the experience because our experience was for the illegal market. So everything that we have been doing is new to get the different. We have different environments. We have a different level of seeds. We have some regulation that you have to create, like between the seed, who is going to give you the seed, who is going to extract you. If you are going to create all the line of the production, is going to be a really challenge. So how can you get involved in that industry that make you a lot of challenge because the regulation is like that. So we can be doing, like be part of that industry to create and understand what is the position about cannabis. We get a huge challenge to give us a big production. I think is one of the biggest in the world. But the thing is, all the companies have doing like just by this way, because they maybe get the muscle of finance to get involved in complete challenge, vertical integration. So what is our position here? We want to try to get involved with some biggest company that provide a good material, that make us allowed to create material that we already have been doing, that we already have been growing before that. We have been doing some investigation on what is the possibility to create some product. We know what is the time to get there. And our feedback of that company, like Clever Leaves, I have been doing like in different seminars with them. They are been doing so free to get the information, to make sure the people get involved in this industry, because we want to be the epicentric for production, but we want to get some value for our final product. So we realize that we have the team that we can do some things, and other one is better that to create some deals between people that they have the experience. So we already know a lot about the agronomic process. We already know about how integrate the environment friendly process, and we already know we can do some investigation. So in the other step about the chain value, we want to find we will be doing deal between get the best of these people in this step of the chain. That is part of our strategy, and get the experience about them.
I see. Thank you. So basically, you're talking about your experience and track record and learning from the path already walked by these other companies. Now, has the management team owned or operated then cannabis companies before, or agricultural companies? You're saying that management team has a track record, and you already cultivated cannabis, right, prior to now. So you guys have experience as well?
Yeah. We have some of the agronomic group They have been working before with other companies. So in some point, we know that our focus is to create a good process of production. So we get involved some of them. And the other one have been working in develop investigation about CBG and how the cannabinoids have incident in our metabolic, how it is working. I like CrossFit. I have been doing CrossFit for a long time, and right now is one of the market that have been growing with different kind of products, and we know how it is the process, what is the process to recover your body. And some of the investigation that we already get involved is about the metabolic. So they already get the experience. They are a PhD in Javeriana. And the other one is the people that have been create like the ways to put the new industry here in Colombia was in telecommunication. It was cannabis, but when he started to do, it was totally new in Colombia. So that gave us a little bit experience to try to beat the market and get the best of the team and get our target.
I see. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one more question, if I can ask.
For sure.
Okay, so you spoke about obviously domestic and international markets, and you talked about United States, of course, and in Europe you chose Germany and Australia. So what is the plan? What is the plan in order to get to these markets? As you know, Germany is leading the cannabis regulations in Europe, meaning Germany is dictating the regulations for import. Okay, and every other country in Europe is kind of following those parameters, right? And I think last time I checked, it was mostly, depends if we're talking about pharma level THC or CBD. But how do you think? What's your plan to enter the market in Europe?
Yes, the first thing that we get was to understand what is the legislation in this country, what is make allowed to get there, and what we need, what kind of certification we need. For example, we are going to get our flower, but our flower is going to get some process. So our partner, they have to make sure that the certification to BPA are allowed to beat that market and get some final product to get there. So first of all, we are going to create the line of production and standardization, all the process, yes, to make allow to get that market. After that, we already understand what is the needed about them. Yes, we have been talking with some of them. We know that for get some letter that they tell us they have interest in, we need before to get all the certification. So our plan before is to get all the process to make us allowed to get from that market. We understand that all the markets in different countries is totally different. The legislation is different. The CBD is different. The quote is different. So the first step is get that process. All the plans is building the greenhouse with the certification, the space, with all the process, with understand the production. After that, we have to we already get some deals between some people that get the license to extract our flower, with the process that, for example, Germany need super critical. I forgot the critical extract. So with that, with this like a line, like a pathway to get there, we are going to make the deals between all our partners to make us allowed to beat that market, to
local
quality,
partners,
quality,
local
quality,
partners.
the local farmers.
Local partners. Local
Yeah,
partners.
local partners. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, local partner. Yes. So that is the process. We have been doing already get to stabilize the plan, and we know that that is a huge challenge. So before we are going to be step by step, but that is the purpose.
Okay, very good.
Thank you so much.
Good luck. Great, thanks.
Great. Thank you so much for all these excellent questions that definitely will allow our audience and our accredited investors that are joining us today to understand better Agromedicol needs and Agromedicol opportunity. There's another chart that I would like to introduce, and it's to Wolfgang. We experiment some technical issues at the beginning, but I think that we're ready to go. Wolfgang, welcome back again. I know that you're in Asia, you're in Bangkok, and it's very early in the morning. So thank you for your support and for being early today. And can you please introduce yourself and ask some questions to David? Thank you.
Sure. Good morning. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, for sure.
Finally.
All right. Okay, great. Finally, thank you. Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to join this conference. Very briefly, I used to be a banker. I left banking in 2005. I was an investment and a commercial banker, a private bank. I've pretty much seen everything. And in 2005, I moved from London to Bangkok and joined the startup, my first startup. And then I've been basically doing startups and different projects, mostly in Thailand, but also in Indonesia and in Burma or in Myanmar for the past number of years. And in 2016, when I came back from living a year with my wife in Yangon, I started hearing about cannabis as an investment. And I had absolutely, that's sort of slipped by me, that whole developing industry. And I became very curious because I think cannabis is a fantastic plant. It's probably one of the, if not the best plant on this planet. But I had no idea about why are people investing, what are they investing in, who is doing what. And so basically for the first 2 years, 16 and 17, I traveled around the world, attended conferences. That's where I met Carol. I think we met in Vegas at ArcView and MJBiz. And I came to the conclusion that this industry is something I want to do for the rest of my life for a number of reasons. And the main reasons really are, at the end of the day, medical cannabis can reduce and does reduce human suffering on a big scale, or can be on a big scale, and we're getting there. Through industrial products, you can have a really positive impact on the environment. And I want to see that expand fast around the world, because looking at what destruction we as human beings are doing is just shocking. And the third reason really is because it's financially sustainable, and you actually can make some money if you're vaguely smart. And so these three factors got me to, as I said, to focus on this industry. I've dropped every other project I was working on, and I just dove right into it. And I have absolutely no regrets. So what we're doing here in Thailand, basically in 2016, it was taboo, but somehow I had I don't know, whatever you want to call it, inspiration or just luck, probably luck, that Thailand is going to be the first country in Southeast Asia to seriously legalize this plant. And as I'm sure was the case in Colombia, you know, seven decades ago, so the Thais used to they used cannabis for the daily food intake, right? And so what we are doing here as a group, we're looking at opportunities not only in Thailand but in the Asia Pacific region. We have identified a number of very interesting opportunities. They are ranging from medical cannabis to industrial, industrial hemp production. CBD, I think, is going to be legalized here in the near future and in the very near future. So that opens up an interesting opportunity to bring in product on the one hand from overseas, and also to develop the local market. The local market isn't ready yet, but a lot of people are in the fields and setting up greenhouses and setting up indoor facilities and so on and so forth. So I think if you look at the overall market in Asia Pacific, it's according to to New Frontier and Prohibition Partners and some reputable publication. It's bigger than the U.S. market by cannabis value, and about $130 billion. So, and these are 2018 statistics, as opposed to the North American market of about $86 billion. So, so we look at this space in terms of really what we are at the end of the day. We're a hybrid between a type of private equity VC in type of investor and an impact investor. And I know that's a bit conflicting. Of course, we want to make returns on investment. We have to, otherwise we're not going to get any investors to invest. But on the other hand, we're very well aware, and have been and will be, that it's more than that. It's about the environmental impact. It's about the social impact. And what we're trying to do also is to put some real measurements around it. It's no good anymore to say, well, we are an ESG company and we do this, that, and the other. Well, we want to show our investors and whoever is interested in the facts. So what are we actually doing? How many trees did we save? Let's say if we go for a hemp for fabric, something we've done here in the past. We've worked with the Mon Hill tribes up in the north of Thailand. We did some cultivation with them that is legal. That's a kind of a loophole we discovered a few years ago. And we went for it, and not sure why other companies didn't go for it, but it was our first experience here in Thailand of working with real farmers who really understand the crop, not the cannabis crop per se, quote unquote, rather the hemp crop, the hemp for fiber, because it's obviously very regulated. And so, but step by step, this whole market is now beginning to evolve. It's going to be, I think, an exciting market, maybe not as exciting as Colombia, because Colombia is so much further ahead down the curve than Thailand is. But I think that Thais and the whole region has a real opportunity to also contribute to this evolution or reoccurrence or revival or resurgence of cannabis. It always blows my mind that I can go into any store pretty much and buy a bottle of, whiskey, nothing wrong with whiskey, or I can buy a packet of cigarettes, but I can't buy a packet of cannabis. And when you look at the addiction chart and you see that cannabis is actually at the bottom of it, it just doesn't make any sense. So just to stick with that, sugar. You go into any supermarket, your kids look around, they see sugar, and you know what sugar does at the end of the day. If you overdo it, you have massive health problems. One other reason there were two or three really critical occurrences for me when I thought this, because I wasn't sure, what is this industry? What are people? Is this for real? What are or is this all made up? And how real are the people? So when I had a meeting in 2017 in Denver, Colorado, and in the Four Seasons Hotel, which is a pretty high luxury brand, as you know. And after the meeting, I went to the concierge and I said, "So, where's the closest dispensary?" And the guy said, "Well, you got a 1 block here, 1 block here," and then he gave me a voucher, a discount, 50%. And this is when it kind of, it's like, really, this coming from Thailand where it's illegal and frowned upon and whatever else, and then you're suddenly in a major city and in a major luxury hotel, and the concierge actually gives you a discount voucher for buying cannabis. So, and there were a lot of different occasions when, you know, people used to, doctors and patients and whatever else, they used to say, well, you know, we took this cannabis oil, or we took that product, you know, based on cannabis, that formulation, and we got rid of our stage 4, you know, whatever cancer or other ailments. And of course, I was extremely skeptical until one day I met this guy in Greenwich, Connecticut, also a number of years ago, and he pitched to me this product which he was going to pitch to the football league in the US. And basically I had a head cold and a blocked nose and whatever else. He said, well, just try this lotion on your forehead and see what happens. So I did that, and my wife had the same symptoms. We had a, you know, cold coming down our way, and within 20 minutes, the sinus was, you know, everything suddenly functioned. And I went, oh my God, you know, this is for real. So this is when I got confidence that there's way more to it than just getting high and having a good time. And I, as I said, I'm excited about this industry. I'm all for sharing as much as possible, because I think there's too much silo mentality still here. Everybody's worried about, you know, competition, and of course you should be, but there's also so much to do together. And at the end of the day, I want to see cannabis being freely available within reason. I mean, there's got to be, you got to make some revenues, and you got to be profitable and everything else. So it really depends on the sophistication, but at the very, let's say, I hate to use this terminology, but at the very low level of society, people who have anxiety, people who have mental health issues, maybe because, or not even in the lowest society, goes right across humanity. And when I saw more recently a statistic about mental health related global healthcare costs, estimate by 2030, so that's less than 10 years, we're talking about a $16 trillion cost coming down the pipe for employers and so on and so forth. And cannabis for sure, and also psychedelics, medical psychedelics for sure, can mitigate that, and can put people, of which there's about 2 billion people around the world, who have some sort of form of anxiety, PTSD, I don't know, whatever. So it's an exciting industry. There's going to be a lot of very, very successful companies in all sorts of different areas, from medical cannabis to industrial products. And I'm glad to be in it. And I think in Asia, Asia ex-China, we're at the early stages. We're giving birth now to this industry. It's not going to be easy. There's a lot of, you know, bureaucratic red tape. You know, the left hand in the government doesn't know what the right hand is saying. So, but those are things you have dealt with in Colombia and everywhere else around the world. So what we are trying to do is to learn from the people who have gone through this over the last 5-10 years. And so our team of advisors is such that these people have gone through it, or some of them, and so they can hold our hand to avoid any pitfalls. So hope that
Thank you so much, Wolfgang, for your insights. Is there any advice from the charter to any additional comments?
For David? Yeah, well, David, that was I unfortunately didn't see the beginning of your presentation. I was still in the shower, but what you say makes sense, of course, and I wish you the best of luck. I just would like to, maybe not now, we can take that offline, but I'd like to understand the competitive map and the overall market opportunity for your company. That would be interesting. So I don't know if you want to comment now or.
Thank you so much for your insight and the whole appreciation about your interest in about this this industry, because behind our team is working on some purpose. We wanna give the legat the legend, create like a Colombia can change the mind of the our production, our history about with this beautiful plant. So answer your question. Our map. What is the map? We first of all, I gave this idea about this industry, and I take that idea when I was in Australia. After that travel, I was in USA, and I couldn't get some insight about how it is working and what is the product and what is the final consume, how we can do, how we will be doing to get the final product, and in what part we can get the best of the absolute key advantage about Colombia. So we have so huge advantage about produce. We can get with that mix of the environmental process and mix of about production, we can get the best quality of cannabis, one, the best produce, get the best integrate the process. And the map is we are in some part of geography that make we allowed to export to different countries. That is other kind of advantage that we get, because we have two seas. And the spectrum here is the world have been seeing to Colombia what we can do. They give some huge code to produce THC. And right now, the thing that we have to do is start to produce, to get involved the people. We can create employed. We can create different develop. The first capital that we raised was from medical. We understand that it's part of the process. We have to involve the medicine here. We have to involve the investigation. So what we can do, we can beat all the market. We just have to start to create the thing that we want to get. We have to start to make the quality on the process, to develop, to technify our production, give employed, give the demonstration to our government that is a huge opportunity that we have, and look the partners in different countries to create a space that way, or partnership to sell products. Could be in full spectrum, to get the pharmaceutical equality, the basic the biomassa, how can I say, the flower, but in the full spectrum, with the quality that they require to create the medicine. So here in Colombia, you can get all the things that you have been talking about. The market is huge. The benefits of cannabis is huge. We have to start to develop on that. We already get some way to get there. The metabolism, the CVG is one of the things that we want to get. The THC as well. We want to get the improve in our production to the metabolitos, secondary metabolitos. And the way is to start. So you're welcome to, if you want to get involved in Colombia, Agromedicol have the doors open for you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much to everyone. Thank you so much to all of our sharks. We are going to take a break, and we will be back with a very interesting Q&A that I have prepared to Wolfgang. And after that, we will have our last presentation, our last educational presentation regarding the risks that investors should take a look. We're entering the Latin American space, and in specific, the Colombian market. So stay tuned and see you in a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Next, I have prepared some questions for Wolfgang. Wolfgang has an amazing and extensive experience in finance, in venture capital. You are an investor yourself. You have been researching and educating yourself regarding the cannabis industry globally. One of the reasons that beyond your financial expertise and your experience as an investor, our team decided to invite you to this space because Thailand and Asia, we believe, is going to be one of the biggest markets for Latin America and one of the biggest opportunities for Latin America. Why we believe that? Because Mexico and Colombia have a lot of experience growing cannabis in tropical outside. There's some similarities in terms of weather and in terms of even some social and cultural issues with Latin American, some Asian countries, if you will. So welcome back and
Thank you.
welcome. Right now under COVID-19, we have seen very few industries growing, and now that we are essential, from illegal to essential now, the industry the industry is experimenting a 40% growth. So we have this privilege. We are privileged because we're experimenting growth in a very close dramatic recession. Um, will you invest? What will be your advice for the investors that are here joining us today?
Well, it's certainly absolutely what you just said, Carol, is absolutely spot on. It's probably one of the few industries in the world which are investable. Now that comes with a whole bunch of caveats because you got to really do your homework. And what we typically do, we typically look at the team, because if the team is not the right team, they can have a fantastic extraction technology. They can have I don't know, whatever an amazing product or whatever it may be in this space, but they're not going to be successful. So it's critical for one of the most critical things, if not the most critical aspect of before we invest, is to look at the team, and then obviously at the underlying product. I mean, it starts with a pitch of the product, and if that's interesting, then you start digging into the team, and we really get to know the people we're dealing with. We see this as a long-term strategy. We are not planning in 5 years or 10 years or whatever to exit the business. We're here to start a business, or we started a business a few years ago, and we're here to stay and here to grow, and we look at this as a long-term investment. Everything else, in our opinion, doesn't make any sense. Now, if somebody were to come along, in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time, and offer us an interesting enough transaction, then of course we're going to look at it. Absolutely, no doubt. But I think as long as I personally think and others, more importantly, think I can contribute some value, I'd like to stay in this industry in one form or another. I think in terms of public markets, it's obviously the markets have recovered, especially in the cannabis sector. The thing to look for, in my opinion, at the moment is really what kind of pipeline do these companies have? What sort of revenues have they generated or will be able to generate in the short term? And what sort of access to funding and cash on the balance sheet do they have? Because obviously, because of COVID and followed by riots now and protests around the world, who knows what's going to be next? You have to be, I think, extra diligent in terms of any investment, and that the cannabis is no different to any other investment. Yes, it is a growing industry. Yes, it is a generating jobs, generating taxes for governments and states and whatever else, but it's not ignorant of what's going on in the world economy and what's going on in the markets, and therefore it's my suggestion to whoever's listening is to really do your homework. I know you're going to do that anyway, but look at the financials of the company, look at the pipeline, and above all, maybe look at the people. Are these people? Do you feel comfortable they're gonna take care of your investment and make sure that you're gonna see the return you expect to get? So my preference at the moment, there are of course a few public listed companies I follow quite closely. I've been in and out over the years and lost some, won some, but right now is I think it's a perfect time to look at companies in Colombia, to look at companies in frontier markets, I guess. And Colombia is no longer a frontier market. You're way ahead of Thailand, for example. But I think that there are some synergies between what's happened in Colombia. I'm sure there are lessons learned. I apologize. I don't, Kara, we should talk more often so I understand what's going on in your world. And so we're looking at opportunities in this space, and a lot of them, to be frank, at the moment, we have no option, and it's not necessarily a bad option to, if we want to enter this industry, we have to do this in some sort of PPP structure with the government or in a JV form of some sort. So there's no way around it. And it does make sense to some degree to control the market. If it's done properly, we don't know that yet. It's going to be, history will tell us if Thailand, for example, is going to do a good job or not. So far, I think here in Thailand, the government has done a reasonably good job. COVID came along, so everything got pushed back and delayed and whatever else. But I think they're getting back on track now. They realize that around the world, this is an industry finally getting large-scale acceptance from policymakers. The stigma is the negative stigma is diminishing, and so I think it's an exciting investment opportunity. And then if you take it one step further, if you look at U.S. investors, the big institutional investors, pension funds and whatnot, under the current regulations, they're not allowed to invest into this space if it directly touches the plant. But once the law will change, or once the U.S. will go legal 100%, which I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to do that sometime in 21, then you're going to see an incredible amount of liquidity coming to chase a number of cannabis stocks too. Did that answer your question, Kara?
Thank you so much. Yes. Finally, well, I was about to change. What do you think are the biggest opportunities in a global scenario? But I think that you already gave us that insight. To end our questions and answers, fundraising for any type of industry is always challenging. Some investors and as a banker, you might know. And but specifically for cannabis, what do you think will be the biggest advice that you can give entrepreneurs in order to reach credible capital?
I think you really need to think hard who you want as an investor. And I know that's extra challenging in an environment where one probably feels, well, I take any money I can get. But that is, I think, a very short-sighted strategy. You want to make sure that your investors, in an ideal scenario, are able to also give you strategic advice, or able to open a door where you can't get through it unless the door is open for you. So when we look at our investors, we definitely make sure they have to be mindful. They have to pass, quote unquote. They have to have certain characteristics as human beings, which makes it easy to communicate. We want people who are honest. We want people who are transparent. We want people owning up to mistakes, not the investors necessarily, but just as a general strategy. In fact, we love mistakes because we can learn from those mistakes as long as they don't blow up the company. And really, from an entrepreneur's perspective, I think it's really critical you are able to tie up the right amount of capital from the right type of investor. I think money is out there. There's plenty of liquidity out in the markets. I mean, you've got the special purpose listed, you know, the SPACs with $2.5 billion raised in the last few months or so, and what I understand is that a fraction of that has been deployed. So that's kind of at the moment one of the few sources of liquidity which is not easy to get, but it's there. It's waiting to be invested. I think the rules stipulate that after 90 days or so, you have to return the funds if you haven't found any investments, but whatever. So make sure you have a large enough network of trusted people who can get you the right type of investors, and then make sure that you under promise and over deliver.
Great, thank you so much, Wolfgang. Well, we have a break right now. Let's take a look to some of our advertising and some information about our sponsors. Thank you, Agromedicol, for joining us today, for giving us this amazing presentation, this great pitch. Thank you so much, Wolfgang, for answering.
Thank you.
Questions. Thank you for being so early in the morning, joining us today. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, every single speaker and character joining us today. We are going to a little break, and then we have a last surprise. So stay tuned, and then we say goodbye. Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us today in the first digital investment platform for Latin America in the cannabis industry. For the Americas, we had the great opportunity to present Agromedicol today. Thank you so much to all of the parks, to every single one, to all our team that is making this possible. And if David, if we want to get in touch with you, how can we reach you? How all these 173 accredited investors that are watching you right now, how can they reach you?
All right, so you can get my email is dhgamenez arroba agromedicol.com. I will. I'm going to write here to get the information. And my cell phone as well. If you want, 31080888357 from Colombia. Just let me know if you are interested, and I will send you the email.
Thank you. Thank you. You can reach us as well. You can reach us directly to Muisca Capital Group, and we will make sure that your request get to the team of Agromedicol. Once again, it's an honor and a pleasure to have these amazing Latino entrepreneurs that have been working very hard, that have been resilient, and this brand industry is been creating so much opportunities for Latin America, and we're here to support. Muisca Capital Group is here to support entrepreneurship in Latin America. Thank you so much to everyone. Please join us for our big event next July 16th. You can take a look into our website, www.latinoinvestmentsummit.com. Thank you so much and see you on July 16th. Bye bye.